wrapped up in my sleeping bag, looking out the window at Aaron's house as the sun is beginning to creep over the horizon. And the trees are silhouetted black against the emerging blue sky with the fading stars up in the sky. And I think to myself how much I hate Aaron because he's got it fucking made with this fantastic house of his, this nice little piece of property tucked away out in the backwoods of South Dakota. God, I fucking hate him. Hope he dies. Hope he dies of syphilis. You piece of shit.
It's one of those things where the pieces to the puzzle are all there in front of you. You just got to put it together, right? You find the pieces of the puzzle, and you organize the pieces, and that's and then you're off to other things because I don't know, we got jobs or something. But no one puts the puzzle to the pieces back together, coming up with the finalized conclusion. Like, oh my God, this is what the puzzle pieces are telling us when we put them together. And as a conclusion, a definitive thing, because I got an article here, which it's recent, but I think the data is like a year old, but it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone's ever declaratively stated it. What all the data has told us. Let me read through the article here. The data is going to be nothing new. 45% of guys 18 to 25 have never asked a girl out in person. From a month or two ago, apparently asking someone, and of course it's written by, hang on, should I do the Ray thing? Emily Brown, would I? What happened? That's ours. Why can't I? What? Can't wait a minute. So the website is Relevant Magazine, which it's not relevant if you got to say relevant. It won't. Are you going to show me who Emily Brown is or not? Oh God, oh my God. I'll just look up Emily Brown. I know you guys are just as curious as if I'm going to, as I am about would or would not. Relevant Magazine. Emily Brown. Here it is. Emily is the Instagram. Now, I'm going to get pictures, or is there going to be some weird shit going on? Oh, God, Jesus. Come on, man. Really? I just want to make a point, like, hey, I had this observation. Here's the conclusion, right? We did all the proof. We just didn't get to the very last line of concluding this mathematical or logical proof. And now you throw me this curve. She, her, of course. Managing editor of Relevant Magazine, and you have less followers than I do. And I'm sorry, lady, you're overweight, okay? I'm not slamming on you. I'm just, come on, just stop, please stop. If I was some fat guy who smoked cigarettes and had a bad diet, right, and I'm on 18 different meds, would you take health advice from me? I mean, I don't even give that much health advice except basic stuff like, yeah, you should go work out, you should lift weights and exercise and keep the carbs to a minimum, right? Right. But at least I'm in shape. At least, I could keep up with a guy half my age. Come on, lady, you're giving dating and you're opening your mouth, period, on this. Why don't you open up a health blog while you're at it? Come on. Oh, God. Okay, Emily, you throw in your 2 cents here on the sex war. I got to back that off. That's coming in. Or am I too loud? I think that's it. There we go. We're figuring it out, boys and girls. We're figuring it out. Hang on. Apparently, asking someone out face to face is a lost art for Gen Z. Recent research from Date Psychology found that 45% of men ages 18 to 25 have never asked a woman out in person. Oh, MJ, click like and subscribe. What do you think? Comment below. Or you could just become a mechanic. I think today I might work on the motorcycle. Instead, most are relying on dating apps, DMs, and other form of digital communication to make a move. I'm going to call that. I think we're going to officially call moving on to other conclusions. I think we can just stop with dating apps, right? That's not dating. There's so was it trace instances of dates occur, right? They always say parts per million. How much fecal material is there in your food? Parts per million, dude. No joke. It's parts per 10,000 dates, or dates per 10,000. It's ineffective. The 3 parts per million of fecal material in my food is quite low, actually, compared to historical standards, and it might as well be 0. So almost half of young men haven't asked women out, period. Yeah, sure, DM, right? Okay. The study points to a few similar culprits: rising social anxiety, fear of rejection, and growing dependence on screens for conversation. I not saying those aren't happening. Those are the politically correct answers that, albeit, are true. I'm going to say it again. Men are doing unconsciously, most of them. Yeah, they don't like being rejected, sure. But unconsciously, they're doing a cost-benefit analysis, and they're pretty accurately assessing that there's a pretty good chance you're going to say no. Right? If your girls said yes, guys would probably, there's a fishing hole. I go there an hour a day and I fish. I catch about 4 or 5 fish every hour. Oh, that's one every 10, 12 minutes. Yeah. Well, I should go fishing there too. They go back to the fishing hole. When you go there and fish for 5 hours, you get a couple bites, but nothing lands in the boat. And I remember it now. I'm more researched on this, I thought. I went into the fascinating world of how failure or rejection, depending on what you're attempting to do and therefore fail at, how one instance of failure affects your likelihood to try again. It's actually a real fascinating world. The casinos do it, right? Because what are they want to maximize the profits, so they got to figure, okay, what's the optimal amount of successes we got to throw in there so that you try again. Or if you get shot down, what are the chances of you not trying again? Dating apps, again, have become this too, where it's not about dating, it's about you swiping through and paying and never finding, and paying perpetually month to month. Injury, like if you get injured on a motorcycle, how likely or less likely are you to? So asking a girl out, applying for jobs, any kind of attempt, each type of endeavor you're trying to achieve, each type of goal has a different repeat rate. And I think gamblers, depending, especially if you're addicted, that repeat rate is very high. You'll keep going until you win because you're addicted. But with women rejecting, what was it? It was a majority, like you're 60% less likely each instance thereafter, and after 5 instances, it might as well be 0. It was something like after 5 instances, you're down to 1 in 10,000. Then there's a refractory period, you recover and you go again. And that also varies depending on what you're trying to do. It's really interesting, very nerdy, very actuarial. I wish Fred was alive to talk about it. But I think, yes, they're afraid and social anxiety, blah, 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 blah. 2 things. Are there any hot chicks that really compel a guy to ask you out? No, that's one thing you're not going to talk about. Right, Emily? Bet there aren't guys knocking at your door. But then I also think these guys, they've asked once, they've asked twice, and maybe it's even like a higher reluctance rate for younger men where they've done once or twice, or they've just gotten close enough and they haven't gotten the handkerchief dropped, or there's absolutely no indication the girl is going to say yes. I think it's not so much, it's risk aversion, but it's not risk aversion of fear, though that certainly plays into it. I think it's just risk aversion of wasting your time. It's risk aversion of an economic loss, whether that's time or money. Because I'll give you another example. Do you know why people stop going to nightclubs definitely by the time they're 30, more likely mid to late 20s? Because they're not getting laid. It's a waste of time. They're not afraid to go to the nightclub. They're not afraid to go pay the cover. They're not afraid to go buy a drink. It's just annoying. It's costly and it doesn't work. It really is like you're just afraid to go fishing in that fishing hole because you're afraid the fish won't bite. It's like, I'm not afraid of the fish. They're not afraid of the fish. They're afraid of taking their boat, hooking it up to the truck, driving the truck down and putting it in the landing, going out there and wasting 2 hours of their day or 3 or whatever. I think it's economic loss that is really driving men away. And you don't have to actually go in there. There's other things that inform young men's decisions, mainly social media, right? Show us where you girls say something, to quote Oddball from Kelly's Heroes. Why don't you say something righteous and hopeful for a change? They see their buddies get shot. Marriage, right? You don't propose to a girl right on the first date. What do you got? You got to look at everybody else who got married. I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. Like, I don't need to go to North Korea to figure out I don't want to go there, because anytime some Westerner gets in there because they're going to make friends, they always get killed or have brain damage when they get out. I don't need to go there. Few familiar culprits: rising social anxiety, fear of rejection, sure, growing dependence on screens for conversation, and it's very statistically unlikely they're going to succeed, right? People have become accustomed to digital communications as the default. The researchers know, okay, that's fine. The young kids are on them interwebs and their phony phones nowadays. I could have swore there's these thing called dating apps. Those kids must be swimming in dates, right? No, the failure rate in online dating is by an order of magnitude. Well, I'd have to do it. 10 gets hit, 1 in 5, 20. Yeah, we're talking 2 orders of magnitudes less than asking someone out in person, which is, again, why I recommend people ask out people in person. They're going online where it's even worse. The rejection rate is even worse. As a result, real-world social skills are not being practiced as often, leading to increased anxiety, uncertainty, and face-to-face interactions. It's a trend that tracks with broader shifts among Gen Z, where relationships are more likely to start online than across a crowded room. Apps have made connection more accessible, but they've also made it easier to avoid the risks and awkwardness of putting yourself out there. Right, with a 1 in 10,000, parts per million chance. The findings also line up with other recent studies showing that many young adults are delaying or opting out of traditional dating altogether, citing everything from mental health struggles to career pressure to post-pandemic social anxiety. Really? Or maybe they just come on, wait, guys. When is the last time? I'm trying to think. The last time I saw a gal where I'm like, dude, if I was single, man, I'd go right over there. And I am trying to figure out the last time. There's a gal at the grocery store, but I got closer. She had tattoos all on her legs, so it wasn't that. Sorry, ladies, the bee's got to be attracted to the flowers. It has to be a petal in bloom. Can't be this ratty old tatted up nose pierced flower with no petals. For now, digital first dating is becoming the new normal. Is it? But whether swiping replaces the adrenaline rush of real life, that's still up for debate. That was it? That was the article? Hang on, let me close out of this. All these, but I gotta get brave, and I gotta get a gold wave. All right. I think what's happening here, not to say that younger men aren't afraid and the online dating and all that. I think men are just becoming good economists. They're just becoming good assessors of risk. And what I think we've found through trial and error, trial and tribulation, but have yet to state the final line on our theorem and proof, is that probably the best dating strategy is to just wait for the girl to let you know. And I'll go old man story. I'll tell you this. The vast majority of the dates I went on, the girl simply didn't want to be there. I don't know why. I don't know why they were there. I'll be perfectly honest. You almost have to appreciate you should appreciate the women that turn you down, because they're saving you and themselves sometimes. But then there are a lot of gals where the vast majority of my dating experience was like tooth pulling. It wasn't fun. They weren't enjoyable. They didn't want to be there. And I can't imagine they're going after me for I don't know if they were bored, they wanted a free movie or what. Lord knows what the motivation was. But they just did not want to be there. Now, contrast that, though, however, to the girls who definitely wanted to be with me it was a night and day difference. And every guy has told you that's a fraction of the effort. They will crawl over barbed wire to get to you. Sometimes then they go too far and then they're creepy and become stalkers sometimes. But it was way more fun, way more enjoyable, way more easy when the girl actually wanted to go on a date with you. I know that sounds self-evident when you say it, but when you look at the vast majority of dating, even marriages, what it is the guy pleading and negotiating with the girl, another human being, to come and hang out with them, right? And if you think of it from that perspective, well, that means you have to convince them, and they don't really want to. And even to the point that some women don't really want to marry the men they want, they marry the men they settle for, which I disagree with. Yeah, now that means only like 8 to 10% of men would get married to the women who like viscerally want them, although that creates the paradigm that guy likely has a harem and never sell for one. But that aside, if you look at the vast majority of marriages, it's just the gal settling for the guy that she didn't really want. That's the sad truth. And then the husband's got a yes, dear, and happy wife, happy life. Even if you throw all the typical things, a big wedding ring, the wedding, the travel, the this, the that, they're still not happy because at the end of the day, they didn't really want you. They just settled for you. And that is evident in the vast majority of dating. It's just that it's much more short-term than it is long-term. And I'll tell you this, and every guy will tell you the same thing. And I ran the numbers before, of course, in my book called The Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. But we even talked about me and my buddy long ago, like, dude, I could have had 2 PhDs. He could have built 3 houses if we stopped chasing girls that it's not that they didn't have an interest, but that we had to cajole or convince or pull the teeth of, which is the vast majority of them. You know, all those girls that really didn't want to go out with me, but whatever, was giving me a shot or just didn't want to be there, weren't viscerally attractive. All that time was wasted, and that was the majority of the experience. In other words, if there was a magic way, and there kind of is a magic way to find a gal that just want to have sex or really liked you, I would have easily saved 90% of my time on dating, which then, especially when you're a younger man, prorate your time. Your time is worth about $400 an hour because you can always work for $15 an hour. I'm going to ignore tax, toss in the S&P 500. So by the time that you're 65 and retiring, it's going to be $400. That's a $400 per hour opportunity cost. I would have been way further ahead. Not to mention a lot less mental stress. And I know a lot of people criticize Gen Z and all they're weak and cowardly and you men are soul boys and all that. Okay, fine. There might be some criticism. All right, some of that might be valid. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I think they're getting pretty smart. Going to bars and nightclubs was a stupid, tremendous pissing away of time. Taking girls out on dates, because that's what you're supposed to do, was a tremendous waste of time. And these young boys, I think they're just getting smart. I think they say, yeah, I heard they don't even go down to the pond anymore. Oh, they might go and cast a couple lines like, yeah, this ain't worth it. I got other shit to do. Or they heard for the, yeah, dude, that place is a fucking sewer. You don't want to go there. I think what's happening is they're maybe not consciously pursuing a Sadie Hawkins strategy, but in default they are. Because women have given no clear indication or interest that they are interested in the guy, and therefore the guy can pretty safely assume, yeah, she's not that interested, so why waste the time? And I think what we need to conclude from this is that what's true, the Sadie Hawkins dating strategy is pretty much the only dating strategy I think men should pursue going forward. And what's Sadie Hawkins? Well, Sadie Hawkins is this old-timey tradition where girls would ask the guys out to Sadie Hawkins dance. I think it lasted a whopping decade, maybe in the 50s or 60s, maybe in the 40s. But obviously you don't have them now because girls would have to ask the guys out. Girls just have nowhere near the courage that their ancestor grandmothers and mothers did back in times past. But that doesn't mean that there aren't some handkerchiefs dropping, girls indicating interest to the guys, etc. Now, here's the whole thing. But Cappy, their indication, they don't clearly drop a handkerchief. Well, that's a them problem, right? If you can't differentiate between the girl that's interested in you and the one that doesn't want to have anything to do with you, that's a them problem, right? You can't just go in there and, I mean, you can, and you'll have success. It's just going to become a sales game. You're going to shut down the majority of the time. And that's really up to you girls if you want to. But I'll tell you this, guys, even today, I got to imagine, perhaps in a very subtle Gen Z-like way, girls might be giving you a hint. Maybe you got to tune your radio to get into that frequency to see what it is. I know a lot of the joke running around. Well, I looked at him. That's not enough. That's not enough. I would say as a whole, ladies, well, I looked at him and he didn't come over and talk to me. You're like, well, in the past, when you looked at someone and they came over and talked to you and your friends did the same, did you communally as a group of girls say yes to dates, right? Whole reason dating apps are failing is because women refuse to date. I'm sorry. It's what it is. You know, there has to be some success for the guys to get back into the casino and spin the wheel or play another hand of blackjack. But from the guy's perspective, and I'm not saying that going out and asking girls randomly, you know, because you never know. And it's true. There's been gals I asked out that all of a sudden they, you know, you would have thought, oh, this is a shot in the dark. This is unlikely. And also, sure enough, they did like it. They're nervous or shy or whatever. So I'm not saying don't you see the cute girl? Sure, ask her out. It's not going to cost you anything. But if you got to do some judgment and like, yeah, you don't got the time. You don't have the wherewithal. Oh my God, imagine that, ladies. Guys don't like getting shot down. Right? Sales it doesn't matter if you're asking a girl out or trying to sell vacuum cleaners. Acme Vacuum Company of Walla Walla, Washington. It gets tiring being a door-to-door salesman. Right? There's other things you'd rather do. But I'll tell you this, whether it's at the initial dating, you know, you're asking a girl out, or it's marriage, or you know, you're in a relationship or something, it is the only women you should be accepting are the ones that viscerally want to go out with you. The ones that are like, yeah, let's go. The ones you don't have to tell to dress up in lingerie. The ones that I'll tell you, I'll never forget. I mean, it happened several different times, but I'll never forget initially dating the GF that I have now. I walked in and she was paying attention because like we all hung out in the same group. And it was not a secret what I liked. I said, I want a woman in lingerie serving me cocktails and whatever, just basic, you know, a lot of people would find that degrading. No, that's basic 101 shit. That's like your average guy's fantasy. Yeah, hot girl serving me drinks, lingerie, sex, whatever. She opens up the door. She's in the French maid outfit. She's got dinner already. Jay and surprise, we're together. Oh my God. You know, you show up at the dating spot and the girl texts like, oh, I'm going to be late. I'm going to be 15 minutes late. And then like half an hour goes by. Dude, fuck that. It's over. You send the girl the text, right? And she doesn't text you back within like, I don't know. It depends on the day, but at least that day, it's over. You girls playing your mind game. Oh, he texted me too much. Fuck no. No. I'll go back to it again. It's no different than any kind of racket game, badminton, ping pong, tennis. You hit the ball to them. And look, if they ain't hitting it over, right? It should be this way. And the only successful relationships are the ones that work like this. If you hit it over and the girl doesn't immediately hit it back when it's in the air, like playing a game, you're not playing tennis. The vast majority, like 48% of women, will just not hit the ball back because they were never that interested. And then another 48% will let the ball hit there, the shuttlecock lands, or the ping pong ball lands, or the tennis ball lands. She'll go do whatever, text on it, and then pick up the ball and hit it over, and then go back to texting. So you're like hitting it over, and then she's fucking around for like 3 minutes, and then she hits it back, and then you hit it back immediately, and then she fucks around for another 3 minutes, maybe hits it, half-heartedly, unenthusiastically hits it back. You're not playing tennis. You're not. The absurdity, it's very shallow. You texted me back too. So fuck you. Do you want to play tennis or not? And then every once in a while, you're going to find a gal. I'd love playing tennis with you. Oh, okay, cool. Want to play another game? And it's rare. It's so rare because, and now we go into the book of Numbers, analyzing the ROI and the pursuit of women. The vast majority of women are just not that interested in the vast majority of men. There are precious, I'd have to say, I've dated hundreds. How many gals were ready to go? We are talking single digit. I don't think there was more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5. Yeah, she is 6. Ah, my good friend, the friends with Ben. Although I think she just was using me, which I'm okay with. Maybe she wasn't like, oh my God, let's go. She's like, hey, I'm bored. Yeah, she gets a special place in heaven for her. Oh, she's a wonderful, oh, what an angel. What a sweet, what a wonderful woman. I'm sure if I sat down and figured it out, I might get up to 10, but it wouldn't surprise me if I didn't even reach 10. We are talking a very single digit percent of the girls that show up on dates, not the ones you ask out, the ones that show up on dates, that want to be there with you. And for your own sake of sanity and efficiency and time and economic, we are talking millions of dollars of lost investment opportunity for you. Only go out with the girls that obviously want to go out with you. Don't become like, I got to imagine 80% of marriages in America today where the girl's just like, like she gets fat because she really doesn't like you that much. She doesn't, dress up. She doesn't do the thing. That and then you're pulling teeth. If you're negotiating for sex, it's over. Fucking divorce her already. And for young boys out there, I think you're going to save way more pain and agony than you realize. I could close this out. We don't need this anymore. You're going to save a ton of pain and agony. Not only avoiding going out with girls that are just not into you, or worse, marrying women that are just not into you. You're going to save so much time, so much agony than those who like, oh my God, well, maybe if I do, maybe this is the magic word. Maybe if I comb my hair this way, no. Just like hey, you want to go hiking? Yeah, let's go hike. You get your butt. All guys are like dogs. Hey, you want to go outside and play? Yeah, let's go outside and play and run around and chase cats. Let's go. Right? You want them on board like that. And it's 8 and 300? Right? What is 8 and 300 divided by 3? 1 point some percent. It's minimal. Very minimal. 2%? 2.5. It's low. Very low. And you're going to say, but Cappy, that's a very few women. There's a good chance I'll never meet someone. You're right. And here's the drawback. You all have to face the dark abyss, right? You all have to face the dark abyss because it's real. It's a very likely statistical probability. Yeah, you're going to have to accept that I'd almost say the plurality outcome is that you're not going to find anyone. Look, the vast majority of women are not that interested in guys. The vast majority of women are only going to be happy in their minds with the top, we're going to say 10%, looks more like 8% of men. That means 92%. This is why I wrote another book called The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. Because the fucking investment banks are even Rise of the She Economy, where they estimate 45% of women will not be married within marrying age range or by 2030. I mean, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm not the bearer of bad. I'm not trying to be edgy. I'm just reporting data and facts, as far as forecasts and estimates can go. It's not you. The vast majority of women are just not that interested in men, and they're certainly not enthusiastic about it. They're only enthusiastic about a top 8%. Every great once in a while, the gal is just going to like your personality. I've seen that. The girl is just madly in love, tickled by this guy. And you look at the guy like, you're kind of average though, but the chemistry just works. She just loves that guy. But that is so rare. And on top of it, she's the one who's going to let you know. But yes, and I get used to this fact. Okay. You could try and believe me or not. You're going to be happier just being on your own than you are pulling teeth with your wife to have sex. It is. It is a better life to be by yourself and lonely, quote unquote, than having someone there who is not all that into you. And that's the point where you can replace those type of relationships. And I'm sorry to say it's the majority of them with renting by the hour, let's just say, because most of your interest is sex. Although, if you talk to ladies of the evening, I think it's like, I want to say a majority of them. I could be wrong. If there's a lady of the evening, let me know. I actually know a lady of the evening, a professional. And yeah, these guys just want to talk. They want to be heard. They want that emotional aspect of the relationship, which, by the way, that's not her job, gentlemen. Although I watched a documentary. It was a gal who was a retired pro, and she made millions. And you know why? Because she listened to the guy. It wasn't about the sex. She realized the guy just wanted a gal to like him and listen to him a little bit. And those guys and she wasn't like this drop dead gorgeous woman. She was attractive, don't get me wrong, but she was like a 7.5 and 8. She wasn't this drop dead gorgeous model. She talked to the guys. She gave him synthetic caring. Or perhaps she actually, when she was talking, she's like, actually, I really tried to appreciate the man there and hear him out. And that connection made it that they just kept coming back to her and pay her a lot of money, and supply and demand. A lot of guys wanted her. She said, I got to raise my prices. All of a sudden, now she's a millionaire. Now she's retired. You can replace, if you find a gal like that, a pro like that, you can replace your wife that just isn't that into you. The wife you're negotiating. Think about that. Negotiating, convincing, cajoling. That's a life of hell. That person doesn't want to be with you. Maybe she likes the house you provide. Maybe she likes having somebody around. So, like you're her pet, but she doesn't want to like viscerally and carnally want to be with you. And so I think letting women indicate interest is the main one. That if you don't have time, which a lot of you don't, and you're not sure, dude, is that girl showing up at your house in lingerie with food? Does she do the raincoat thing? If she doesn't, well, and ladies, if you want it, Lord knows what lurks in the minds of the American women. But we don't care. It's not our job. You'll let us know, and we'll never know. It's up to you if you want to. And I know. Actually treating you like equals, say, we'll start asking out guys is just a joke. That's hilarious. That's funny. Hey, you hear about the gal that asked the guy out? It's woo, when does he get his Netflix special? Can you girls, if you really like a guy, if I was dumb, okay, I was young, but when I worked security, okay, there's number. No, she didn't want to have sex. She just wanted to be boyfriend, girlfriend. There was a gal that kept showing, when I worked security back at college, a gal kept showing up and talking to me. I thought she was just being friends. Turned out she had a crush on me. Some girls have bad vision early on in their lives and they can't see what they're asking out. I didn't pick up on it, but yeah, that nowadays I'd be like, oh, maybe I should ask that girl out. I think she likes me. What? I'll tell you another thing here, girls. This happened a lot. And this is probably causing more destruction between the sexes than women think or even aware of. It was very common. You meet a gal, things were on fire, and then she just ghost, right? Dude, I remember making out with this gal. We were closing down the salsa club. I'm making out with her on the dance floor, and she lived in St. Paul. I lived over in the WB. I had to go north. She was going straight east. Yeah, east. And she's like, you want to come back to my place? I'm like, dude, it is 3 a.m. I have got to go home and get some sleep. I say, let's pick up where we left off. We'll go out some other time, but I got to get to bed. And I'm thinking like, this is a shoo-in. Nope, never heard from her again. The number of times you want to talk about something where, it's almost like that's bait. There were a lot of times the girl acted real interested, very clear. And either because they were sadistic or they were drunk or they had second thoughts, or a better offer came along, it was a bait and switch where it's like, wow, this girl's really interested. Where I remember even in my 20s a little bit, 30s just kind of stopped caring. You'd be like, oh, this girl's, well, wait, wait, is this just going to be a sucker punch? What is this the bait and switch? And so, by the time, I'd say late 20, I achieved captain status. I wasn't a private anymore. I'd be like, yeah, okay, I mean, we can meet, sure, right, whatever. Even if the girl was flirtatious and acting interested, the number of times that it's like, whoa, wait a minute. So they act interested, but then they don't show up. And that, I don't know if you girls are still doing that, but you should probably stop that, because you may not think, well, this guy, I'm going to torture him and get my kicks because you're fucking evil. You don't realize you're ruining it for another woman or two or three where that guy might actually make those women happy. And the guy of your dreams is probably having another girl do that to him that you're doing to a different guy, so that in that chance moment, you might have met the guy of your dreams and you gave him flirt indicators of interest. He's like, whoa, she's really flirting with me and being very kind, but I remember the last time, and that gal just ended up like standing me up or lying, whatever. I'm gonna be reluctant to go over there and talk to her. Is it that hard to understand that bees need flowers like the birds and the bees? But flowers, colorful, vibrant, attracts the bees, pollen. Or do you want to be like an anti-aircraft gun on some kind of German installation? And it's why aren't the planes flying around us? Why aren't the planes landing at our airport? I would like to achieve this. I would like to get you younger men, but I guess guys in general, to the point you realize exactly what the reality of the situation is, and you accept it. You may not like to accept it, but you accept it. And that allows us to move on and employ dating strategies and tactics that actually will work, so that you're not confused. At minimum, we can get rid of the confusion. And then you're not sacrificing you're not losing anything. You weren't going to be successful anyway. So again, a lot of people say, oh, you're just doomer pill. I'm like, no, nowhere did I say don't ask out girls. I'm just saying get your expectations in line with reality and understand that, as with anything, any kind of relationship, if that person doesn't want to be there, then the relationship isn't going to work out. Whether it's an employer, hey, you guys want to go hunting? And say, nah, I don't like hunting. They're not there. Hey, do you want to spend time with me? And the girl's like, the answer is no. So move on. Don't think there's hope. Don't think, oh, if I wear this type of shoe or that type. No, it's the Sadie Hawkins dating strategy. You'll let me know. Here, flirty, flirt, cool, clever thing, I say. And then she's like giggling and she hits you. If you get hit in the chest backhand, especially, that's the best sign. That's the best sign. You're a dork. You're in. You're in. Maybe. But if they're if they're just sitting on their phone, they let the balls in, they pick it up and hit it back over, go right. She doesn't want to play tennis. So there you go. Link below is what the fuck is link below? The book of numbers analyzing the RI and the pursuit of women. Not linked below is the menu Life Without the Opposite Sex. Ladies, effectively, you've made it very clear you want nothing to do with men, generally. So that means you also won't have the opposite sex in your life. A lot of people are not going to have the opposite sex in their life, right? I'm not being doomer when I'm saying you half you ain't getting married, right? Don't tell me you're just skewing it. No, so far the data that's come out that I didn't put together is starting to corroborate what we see in the real world. I'm just saying, well, then maybe we should do this. Ladies, it's for you too. There's a men's menu and a women's menu, because men and women are different, because what will make women happy in life is not going to make men happy, and vice versa. So, I mean, you can read through the other menu, but I don't recommend ordering from it. But take a look at that. The menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. And yeah, guys, have it. And I think Gen Z's got it. Maybe perhaps unconsciously or unintentionally. perhaps out of fear or whatever, but you're waiting for the girl to make you're not asking them out. You're not waiting for them to ask you out, but you are waiting for them to show some kind of interest, which is good. And you're saving yourself a lot of time. You're not drinking as much. You're not going to the nightclubs. You're not wasting your time. You're spending more time with your buddies, perhaps working and focusing on the gym or education and career. Dude, you're going to come out way ahead than all of us old timers. It's good to. And then, ladies, anytime you'd like to play tennis, let those guys know. Let's go to the super chat. Damn, 21 super chats. What's going on? Beauregard, fetch me my fainting cow. Hey, Beauregard, where is that from? That's Henry Fonda. What movie is that from? I got whistled today using your pickup line. You got whistled today using my pickup line? Oh, okay. Here we go. Beauregard. Cashier, want to beg me? Not today. She, oh no, me, nah. On my way out, maybe when I'm coming back, her, low, high. Well, that's a good sign. Want to beg? Not today. Oh no, me, nah. On my way out, maybe when I'm coming back. Well, you didn't ask her out? Come on, that's a setup. Like, this is a bag. That's material to work with. Maybe when I come back to ask you out, I'll get a bag. And then just look at her response and let her sit a little bit. Go back. Hey, you want to go out? I'll have a bag now. Let's go to the bag exhibit at the museum. There's an art exhibit of bags. She seems fun. There you go. You'll figure it out. Chad Twizzler stroke $5 had 100 matches. Here, thank you. Had 100 matches on Tinder and only 4 dates. Occurred. The stats don't lie. Speaking of fishing, Cappy, caught tons of salmon. I'll be smoking some soon. Oh, good. Where were you? Like up in Montana or Idaho? Where were you? Again, not looking for a super chat. Alex Bogey, $5. Only time in my life a girl asked me out was a Russian tourist chick when I was bathing at an Egyptian resort. I was reading. She had a bottle of Jack. Boy, those away games are fun. They're a lot more fun. I had several Russian gals, but the one I had an experience with more or less asked me out. Made it very clear she liked me. And then I find out later it was a trap. Where after you have the spanky spank, then they say, oh, no, I didn't want that. So you're going to give me citizenship or I'm going to go and report you to the police. But because the no spanky spank occurred, when she said no, because Cappy, believe it or not, actually respects women. There was no evidence that spanky spank occurred because it didn't occur. And then she couldn't file, and then she just went away. That kind of shit, right? Fucking hell. That one I wasted a ton of time and money on. Not a ton of money, but like, oh, this gal really likes me. And then then all of a sudden she was out with her friends and partying. She did not age well. Ken Rose, he says hi for $2. Hello, Ken. Reen, $10. Ask the amount is basically a diminishing rate of return for each rejection. It's the same rate. It's the same pain or cost or time. Same amount of time. It's just you are less likely after 3 failures to ask a 4th, and even more less likely after a 5th. Another factor we miss is the amount of time alone between dates. Sometimes it's years now. It used to be weeks or months before. I mean, it's always been a numbers game. I don't want to say give up. If anything, you should learn to not let the rejection lessen your propensity to ask a girl out again. It's just a rejection. It doesn't mean anything. And I think we all, in the olden days, you think, what's wrong with me? I got to improve. No. Women don't know shit about a quality man. They don't know. I'll tell you the story again. Senior analyst, banker, Ballmer, Danston Shark property owner. I don't even think I was mid-20s. Pretty successful. I got rejected by 31 girls to dance. Dude, ballroom dances, they don't know what they want. They don't. You can't take it personally. You cannot take a woman's rejection of you personally or some kind of accurate assessment of your value, right? You need to be the best you are at what you do. whether it's your career and you're in shape and you got your finances together. And if you're a good man, you're a good man. Girls can't smell a good man to save their lives. That's why they're always filing for divorce all the time. Well, it's right here, work. Yeah, don't. In other words, women are really poor judges of quality and character of men they want to marry and date that are good men. So them rejecting you has really no bearing on your quality and caliber. Alex Bogey, $5. Only time girl. Oh, I already did that one. Reen. Women aren't the best at receiving approaches anymore. Either their social skills have declined as well. I guess, is that what's happening to young? Like when a guy asks a girl out now in public, it's so rare that she's shocked. I know Great One talks about that a couple times. And now that I think about it, when I've asked gals if they're single to set up Great One, they're shocked. And not necessarily a pleasant shock, but they're kind of like scared shocked. It's like, no, here, this is my buddy. He's single. You're kind of his type. You interested? No, I have a boyfriend. It's like, lady, how did you think you got here? Like, what is this apprehension? Are men that scary? Are we really that scary? Good thing you're inviting a bunch more men into the country. Chad Twizzler stroked $2, but Dennis Prager just says find a church girl. Yeah, and poor Dennis, I guess he's paralyzed from like the back down. He fell and injured himself. So the best to Dennis Prager. And Dennis is from an older time. Hambone, 10 generous dollars. Don't talk to us at work, the gym, in public, or we'll put you on blast. Hey, why aren't the men moving on and finding other things to do? Well, in Hambone, that's another thing. The united front of what women are saying on the internet, which admittedly is not accurate and 100% representative of what women think in the real world. But what men see on the internet is very deterring and preventative of men asking girls out. I try to give women a fair shake. No, come on, they're doing that for clicks. That's do not approach. Like that's just a fucking clickbait whore. Okay. Or power tripping. But if that's all guys see, and you see the exchanges going online, yeah, again, show me where women say something righteous and hopeful for a change. Show me that. You don't see it. And that hugely disincentivizes men from asking women out online or in person. Men, why are the men moving on and finding other things to do? It's a Slowpoke Rodriguez moment for the women. I go to the gym very regularly. I have never, and to show you what you see on the internet is not what is representative of the real world, though it might rhyme. I've never seen girls doing their butt photos or setting up a video entrapment or anything like that. I had one gal, like I was doing military press, and she bent over like 4 feet in front of my face on a machine. Now, yeah, the machine was there and she could do that, but I'd be like, I kind of make sure I don't put my junk in front of other people's face. Like, oh, he's sitting at, maybe I shouldn't do my whatever, my curls with my junk in his face. You know, I have junk awareness, junk placement awareness. But that was a one-time thing, and I don't see these gals doing that. But if that's all you see, and here's the other thing, right? Women in public don't necessarily let you know what's what either. So then when you see this happening on the internet, like, well, this is the only information we're getting, and it's not looking pretty good. It's very demoralizing. It's no different than propaganda. If you read in the newspaper, all women hate men, but you don't see that in the real world. Well, on the newspaper, it says, maybe I'm a little bit more reluctant. Hambone, $2. Did you ever find a bench you like? No, I didn't. Dude, of all the things, you think, I'll find a bench. Like, how hard is that? You see, I've found benches owned by other companies. The Cold Stone Creamery down in Rapid City, they got the exact bench I want. But I go online and try to can't find a bench. I've spent like a good hour and a half looking for benches. I'm never getting that time back. A bench, a fucking bench. You think it'd be out there. Alex Bogey, $5. Indicators of interest can be misleading. Staring not always means they like you. They might be scared, or they might be looking behind you. If I had to estimate it, the percentage of times where the girl was giving me some kind of indicator of interest and I asked them out, it was about a 40% failure rate. So yeah, 60% success rate, but a not small minority of times it was no, oh my God. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, stop looking at me. I had one gal make it out with me, and then I followed her around a little bit for the evening. She's like, why are you following me? I'm like, I thought you wanted to like go home. And you're like, no. I'm like, okay, fuck it. You grabbed me and kissed me. I don't have no. You have fun. Also, they will go on a date but goes later. Yeah, a lot of times you thought it was going to go somewhere and it didn't. Femboy Fantasia, $5. If you've been in the military and college, you've been taught that women hate being asked out by unwanted men more than anything. Right? And how do we know that? And then, yes, you can see if they're flirting with you. Look, here's the other thing, guys. Their inability to indicate interest is not your responsibility. You're going to go out there, and the vast majority of girls are just not going to indicate interest. So you're at a thing, you're at a party or whatever, and it'll be once in a blue moon. It's going to be like, who was it with the bags and the checkout girl? Okay. She went that there. That's pretty good. That's what you're looking for. But how often does that happen? And yes, if you want this to happen, you need to be in your best physical shape. So there is a response. There's something you can do about that, is be in really good physical shape and generally dress a little bit better when you go out in public. You never know. But that's the best thing you can do, is be physically attractive to get more women to kind of express an interest in you. But yeah, I would not, unless you're a Chippendale guy, you're not going to get it. It's going to be at best once a quarter. Like there's one gal, and you're not trained to pick up on it, right? If I went, a buddy of mine and I was showing him the Black Hills. We went to this coffee shop over in Spa Fish. And me and him are walking out, and we're looking for a seat. And this lady, or a younger gal, the woman, a little bit younger than me, grabbed a chair and sat it down at the table. And I thought, oh, that was awfully nice of her, as a thank you. And me and my buddy just sat down and had coffee. We're driving away. And something in the back of my mind was like, what I'm like, wait, she thought I was cute. I think she wanted me to talk to her. It is so rare. You just think, oh, that's a nice thing that lady did. And I'm sorry, ladies, it's so rare. It's just kind of like, oh, that's just being polite. What women have to do, and it's going to take a long time and consistent effort on the part of most women, so this is not going to happen. You have to debunk the current belief that women don't like men. That's basically, you're going to have to convince men that, oh yeah, women actually generally like men. You're going to have to dethrone or debunk the preconception that women are not that interested in men and replace it with, yeah, women like guys, we do. Oh, okay. But I mean, now I think about it, it's kind of funny. Like, oh, it was an hour later by the time, like, wait a minute. That's too late now. Had I been under the impression girls like guys, and I would have been like, oh, hey, I think she likes me. She's flirting with me. And think about that. Someone who's kind enough to get you a chair, that's a good person, or at least a good first foot forward. Well, I didn't pick up on it. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field, 10 generous dollars. I graduated in 03 and had Sadie Hawkins and Morp. Oh, Morp backwards for prom anyways. Nobody asked Alex out. That tells you how popular Alex was anyways. All of them got fat. God bless it. God bless you. That's right. The curse of Alex. Actually, okay. that's not a stretch. Most people do get fat when they get older, so it happens. And we're in America. So yeah, all women end up at Walmart pretty much. Yeah, I don't think we had a Sadie Hawkins. I think it was in grade school. We were aware of the thing called Sadie Hawkins Day, maybe, and girls gave you candy or something, but there was no dance. It was like 4th or 5th grade or something. I don't know. Very few women have asked me out. I guarantee you less than 5 women have asked me out in my life. Chad, $5. Prager had to come from wealth if he can afford 2 divorces. Well, okay, Prager earned his wealth. He's an exceptional mind. He's an exceptional philosopher and a public speaker. He equates divorce to a car crash. I say skydiving and chute opening is a better analogy. He's religious. Look, the only thing I disagree with him on is his views on marriage, but it's religiously based. He's a devout Jew, right? He's got his rules. You know, my old man's the same way. Former pastor, right? This is what God says. And like, here's what the real world rules are saying. But God says this. All right, obey your guy in the cloud rules and get the shit kicked out of you in the real world. You can't, they're religious, you know, and God bless them. God bless them. But that's their problem, right? Girls right now, whether they're aware of it or not, have the reputation of disliking men in America. That's a disadvantage for them. That's a them problem. Religious people who are religious to a fault, to the point they ignore the real world realities of the rules life is having, they have to abide by, and they don't. That's a them problem too. Alex Vig, $2. Shout out for Zero No Sukama. Oh, I didn't know. I just looked for fucking fun. I just looked for girl chasing guy image, and Google has all guys chasing girls. They are so fucking biased. I'm like, there's not one image out there of a girl chasing a guy. Then I typed in Sadie Hawkins and some old timey comic book shows up, but then it's all guys chasing girls. And then so I went to Yandex because I'm like, okay, obviously, but no joke. Google and Bing do not want to make it look like women are chasing men. Like guy rejecting woman, look up an image of that. It's very rare. And then they'll show girl rejecting a guy. I'm like, I didn't say a girl rejecting a guy. I said a guy rejecting a girl. Nope, you can't see that. It's so Orwellian. So I went to Yandex and girl chasing guy image, and then that anime thing showed up. I'm like, well, that's good enough. That's what it should look like. If you look at the thumbnail, that's what it should look like. The girl just likes the guy, and the guy's kind of like, whoa, what happened? Kind of funny how that happens sometimes. Zanzis, 998. Malaysian rupees? What's MYR? What's an MYR? MYR, Malaysian rupees to USD. What is that? Ring it. Oh, it was so close. Malaysian. I knew it was ring it. For 30 Malaysian ringgits. Over here in the East, we already dropped the shtick about dating, already bad cost due to value ratios. Over in Malaysia, really? Okay. Brothers even encourage each other to spa or leg washing shops. Is that in Malaysia? They wash your legs? Pretty girls serving you all smiles. 1 for 2 or 1 out of 2. Here's another one from Zanzis. Carrying the conversation as well. If you don't like it, you can call to change. Build your confidence. You get pampered and value to your money. That's nice. That's nice. So washing, I'm again not search. I'm just, you guys make super chats that evoke more questions on my part. So they wash your legs over there. It's like a pedicure almost. Tony the Killer B, $5. My wife saved up money for a side hustle and got me a used Traeger. She just said she loves me, wants me to be happy. Win or no? Big win. She bought you a Traeger, man. Come, dude, shows she cares. What? You better hold on to this one. She likes you. Your wife got you a smoker, and you're wondering if you should keep this one. She just said she loves me and wants me to be happy. Win or no? Big win, man. Big W. Alex, again, $5. Since you brought up economics, it's about supply and demand at the end of the day. No scarcity of men in the West. Venezuela is a canary in our coal mine. Yeah, well, you girls are going to find out what you're going to, when all this technology and infrastructure men build, like, sewer systems and the electrical grid, when it all goes away and you can't do your girl boss, nonprofit marketing, DEI director horseshit jobs, you're going to find a job that you're going to, I'm sorry. I am not trying to slam on you girls. I'm trying to tell you, maybe you ought to go pick up a trade so you don't have the trade only to rely on, if you know what I'm saying. Hambone, $2, bait and switch. Inconceivable. I should watch that again. But I knew you would know, then that's why I switched again. Oh, Alaska Jack, $2. I'm Gen Z and I feel like we are waking up compared to the generations before us. You are. And you have the internet to thank for it. Dude, the fucking media was owned by the Democrat Party for so long. And they just convinced everybody that, oh yeah, go be not the gender you are. Oh yeah, cut your junk off. Oh yeah, free shit, because we'll figure out a way. Here's some Keynesian bullshit as, and those bastards got more, and you need that. We need immigrants. We can outsource jobs too. Oh, those are the bad people over there. No, don't have kids. Be a girl boss. Pay taxes. It's okay to pay 40% in taxes. And you guys are, look, and I think the big straw they tried to put on the Gen Z camel's back was big chicks are beautiful. Fat is beautiful. I think, guys, fuck you. That's why that, what's her name? Sydney Sweeney jeans commercial is so awesome. So perfect. Beauregard, $2. Beauregard from 1973's My Name is Nobody. The Trinity Synod? No, Nobody is Still My Name. Is that the Trinity series? Hang on, My Name is Nobody. Yeah, Terrence Hill. And it's got Henry Fonda? Oh, I gotta watch. Okay. Wait, does it end where they're on a platform for a train station? I think, and it's in Louisiana. I think I have seen that one. Yeah. Winning strategy: catch a felon, pretend to sell drugs, catch a felony. Oh, pretend to sell drugs, fake being homeless, and a deadbeat dad. Yes, the women sure do like the criminal element, but you gotta fake it. You gotta be like T. Rash, who goes to church and helps with the orphans, but in the daytime, his reputation is he's a bad guy, and he's got 6-pack abs. He's got a felony. Reen, $5 again. Despite our point of equality, ever notice how most advice to men is that women are lying or they don't know what they want? Nowadays it is. Beforehand, it was like, well, you guys just need to do better. You just need to do better. It's the classic where the individual woke up and says, no, we are not the ones with the problem. They are. And it's not a problem. Women don't have a problem. Women biologically are just not that interested in guys. That's it. That's all. I think that's the one thing we need to take away from all this, so that you guys stop, one, annoying them, and two, stop wasting your time and money. And I'm sorry, sisters, I am probably one of the biggest feminists out there. Yeah, time for you girls to start being equal. If you're interested, you let us know. And they're kind of like, yeah, we will. I'm like, ooh, ouch. That's how, dude, their silence should be deafening. Okay? If women like you that much, they would ask you out. And they don't. There's your answer. Stop bothering them. Right, ladies? You would like it if men stop bothering you. Cool. I mean, there's no other choice. There's starting to become increasing legal, but certainly more likely social risks and costs that come with that. So, all right. Okay. Let us know. We're here. Space Cowboy, $5. You'll catch the wind with your bare hands before you find out what's in the hearts and the mind of a woman. That's, like I said, Dr. Charlie Taliban. Orion Taraban is his name. I like Charlie Taliban better. He has one of the greatest videos out there. What do women want? What other women want? Go watch it. It's like, there it is. Sorry, don't have time to figure out what all of you want so that the individual girl I'm interested knows what she wants. Bye. Bye. Gone fishing. Bye, 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 bye. I ain't working anymore. Gone fishing. Bye, 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 bye. Space Cowboy, $5 again. My second grade teacher told me I was cute when I was angry. Was she hitting on me? No. She probably thought you were a cute little boy because you probably were a cute, little 7-year-old getting angry. I think that was honest. Christian Trospective Gamer, 20 generous dollars. After my divorce, messaged thousands of women on dating apps over 6 years. Met my current wife on Plenty of Fish. Managed to find a quality woman. Been married now since 2017 with 3 kids and 1 on the way. That's a cool story from the 2010s, bro. But I'm not slamming on you, but it is dated. There was that short sweet spot, and you're it, where online dating was working. Also, though, your numbers bear out. You had to message thousands of women over 6 years. I'm surprised it's a single digits of thousands. It's probably more like 10,000. But yeah, those numbers bear out. Thousands, you're talking fractions of 1%. Married for coming up on 10 years and 3 kids with another. Go, good for you, man. Good for you. Glad that worked out. Congratulations. I mean, which lends to, look, you can do online dating. I'm not talking to you individually. Online dating, sure. Why the hell not? If it's cheap, just swipe. That's the equivalent of tying down a fishing pole, and you come back and you check on it once a week to see if you got any bites. It's not going to hurt, but you don't, like, no more than 2 years ago, average person, men and women, were spending 90 minutes a day on a dating app. You do not. Those are tremendous costs. Tremendous. So that's good. I'm glad you met your wife that way. Yeah, you could meet gals on dating apps, but I wouldn't spend more than 5 minutes a week on it. Again, I think your time is much better spent going out and asking girls out in person. Beauregard, 20 generous dollars. Watch it again. Okay, I will. For $20, I'll do anything. $20 is $20. All right. Thank you for all the kind donations, everybody. Really helps out. Where are the super chats money going today, boys and girls? Where is it going to go? What do I go? Where's my to-do list? I left it upstairs. I'm making poker dealer buttons in resin. So I'm going to buy resin. These are big, exciting. That's not going to, what do we, gas? Or I got gas. Girls cooking. I don't know. Looks like it's going in the S&P 500 index. Let's go into like a retirement fund. That's where it's, truck fund. That's really where it's going to go. I got to get a truck. My old truck is on its last legs. Can't shift into third anymore. So it's time to go get another truck. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.